Alrighty. Howdy Neighbors, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Last time I took about 30 minutes to rotate a fucking jar. Anyway, let's continue. A possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nonetheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright. What's the matter? If the events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, she killed him? You mean Mr. Marshall died? Because of me? No! Never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Objection. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, your direct murder, Prosecutor Marshall. How could you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin this crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. We don't have evidence. We'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. Certainly can't have dead people testify. If Mia was here, we could. Or Maya. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. No. Touche, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left. This is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Gotta think back to the court record. The murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Yeah, the red on the jar. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister's a murderer? Yes. No. Don't be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Well then, Mr. Wright, please show us a piece of evidence that conveys the message to the deceased. The dark red stains must be blood traces from the incident 2 years ago. Only the fragment found in Chief Gant's office still has the lines remaining on it. Okay. Examine enhance. There's nothing on the bottom. All the way right through. What was really a jar for some weird telescope? Yeah, it's this. What? The fuck? Hold on. Yeah, it's the jar.
Take that!
Just left by the deceased. The blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he gonna just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten that it's just a jar. Message left here. Let's see if it's the jar. What do you mean? Look closely to see a faint trail of blood on the jar. I forgot to read! Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here. Drawn in blood. What you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. Well, someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed direction. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points and the victim's message will be apparent. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe the bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect these dots to make the lines. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. It's Emma! Because look, we have the, where are the oops. So it's E. And then M. Emma!
Take that!
The defense attorney's duty to prove the client's innocent. That's why all I've been thinking about was saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. Emma. For the final message, Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. That's why the evidence was forged. So her sister wouldn't go to jail. Seaworthy? I'd say I didn't warn you. Oh, you shut up. Chief Gant. don't understand the implications of what you've done. What are you talking about? 2 years ago, your dog was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Objection!
But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That is undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Did you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? He might have sent an innocent man to his death. How could he just stand there? It wasn't his fault. Order, order, order! Order! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Well, so far I've spent more than half of it trying to figure out a jar. So you know what? I don't think it's gonna go anywhere anytime soon. February 25th, 12:06. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Well, nerve, pal. Being a detective, run all around while on duty. Top it all if you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take Alana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here. She asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about it just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. You can at least study some evidence law, really. Chief Prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him. I guess I'll give this book a thorough read. Evidence law. Securely slipped into pocket. Evidence law from this guy explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the Chief Prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're on, Detective. Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in the prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. Ha! What else is there left to do? Credibility is all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. And this guy found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Yeah, because we didn't even talk about Detective Goodman's death yet. Damn. We haven't even started. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer's still out there. What? We're gonna expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Ah, I forgot to read! February 25th, 1252, District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. It actually will not, because I'm going to be reading real quick. So hold your horses. Rules of submitting evidence. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. Number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Cool. I already know that. We will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edwards. Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It just seem. Everyone's been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. The solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. Huh? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement. But a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Oh, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. Call the wrong witness. This trial's as good as over. Defense calls. Has finally come to bring out the real murderer. If I get it wrong, oh well.
Take that!
Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does that have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Would you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy? Actually, you want to do this? Your name and occupation. Oh, you want to play hardball, huh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. Which with the grim face. First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Like what? Like the role you played in all of this. So, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. Huh? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry. I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. Witness testimony. SL9 incident. I don't want it. I don't want it in my show. I don't want it. No. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. The power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Doc was arrested? Him? They're lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, seems Doc bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. The police chief has the right to refuse to testify. I better hit him hard and fast. Cross-examination. SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark, which made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. A power outage didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. One upstairs and one downstairs. As you could say, they are lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden. So I got the shock of my life. Well, I'm not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart, though. It's not funny. It's a little funny. Over to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were laying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Doug was also laying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. And next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what Sister had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because the victim's body had already been moved. So that means... found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier that it was my suit of armor after we stabbed the prosecutor. Oh my gosh. Yes. Anyway. You can see I had nothing to do with the forgery. I have evidence for this one. This weird thing.
Objection!
You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that's a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Copies of the evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. It's a blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. We found where? You see, Chief Gant. These articles of evidence uncovered at your office. Are both concrete proof. You also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh. Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. They admitted them. That you were involved in forgery. Who, me? What do you mean me? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you're the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Ryder?
Objection!
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Dorothy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops even further. He'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know when to put two and two together. Witness testimony, evidence, and forgery. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. And a piece of leather. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, I can't prove when these pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participated in forgery. Arranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I'm investigating the crime scene. You should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is... well, you know. Alright, Udgy. And return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh. Are these guys telepathic? Cross-examination, evidence, and forgery. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. Huh? You know, back in the day I once broke into a cattle ranch and chipped. Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry the evidence, can you? If you don't have proof to the contrary... Oh, if you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rido's prints are found. Yes. If they're inside my safe, that would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery? I'm not through speaking yet, Rido. All depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they're found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. You're saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation. It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed on the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Edgeworth, I'm gonna need a little something. Ooh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. Chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule it out. The remarks, however clever they are, will only succeed in wasting time. Yes, and as we all know, I am an expert when it comes to wasting time. Or something I don't know. Come now, Rido. Think about it. There's no reason I participate in forgery. How can you look me in the eyes and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember. Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murderer here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Arranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant. At the very least, there's one large benefit you reap from all this. I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would be, of course... Oh, that would of course be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, oh, that's a good one. Really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. Resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little bit. That's true, Edgeworth. Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means... only one possible motivation for you to commit the forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. I also know that I'm going to end this episode here, and we're going to keep going with you being a creepy weirdo. Next time. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you later.